Oh no! The appraisal came in lower than the purchase price. What do I do? Stick around to find out. Hi and welcome back to my channel. If you're new here, my name is Jill Heydrich. I'm a local realtor here in Lexington, South Carolina. I post videos about what it's like to live and work here in the Midlands and guidance on buying, selling, and investing in the area. Last week we talked all about what a home appraisal is, when it is needed, and what it is exactly based upon. This week we're talking about what do you do when the home appraisal comes in too low. What are the options for you, both as a buyer and a seller, in that situation? Or are there any? Of course there are, and that's what we're going to be talking about today. Now, as a buyer, you're getting financing in the property. Your lender or your bank is going to require you to get a home appraisal. You see, the appraised value is the amount that they're going to be willing to loan you. They're not willing to loan you more money than what the home is actually worth in a fair market value. If they were to do that, well, then that would be a bad investment on their part. So they want to make sure, aside from your feelings, the seller's feelings, and the buyer and listing agent's feelings, that you are paying a fair price for the home. And that's why a third-party licensed appraiser is going to be coming to the property and evaluating the property attributes and the market conditions. So what are your options when it comes in too low? Do you have any? Does that mean the whole deal is dead? Well, not exactly. I'm going to use round numbers as we talk through these options just to make it easy on you. Let's say the home is purchased for $250,000 and the appraisal came in at $240,000, $10,000 below the purchase price. Now, option number one would be to make up the difference in the price. So, for example, if you're getting financing on the property, the lender is going to base the loan on the $240,000 purchase price. So if you were to make up the extra $10,000 and cash out of your own pocket, you are free to do so as a buyer, and that certainly is something that the sellers are always going to be looking for because they want to get the price out that they negotiated from the beginning. So the first option is going to be to make up the difference in price out of cash from your own pocket. Option number two is going to be renegotiate with the seller. Now is your chance as the buyer, or at least the buyer's agent, could go back to the seller's side and say, hey, look, unfortunately, even though we came to an agreement of $250,000, a licensed appraiser third-party objective opinion on the fair market price for the property is $240,000. Would you be willing to take $240,000? It's actually in the seller's best interest to try to work something out with you as the buyer because the appraisal is still going to be there if they went under contract with somebody else. So it's a good idea to try to make this work. Now, option number three is to walk away. If the seller really won't budge on their price and you're not willing to make up the difference in cash because you either don't have it or you don't want to pay above the appraised value for the property, and that's understandable. Sometimes you can meet in the middle, so maybe instead of $10,000, you guys split the difference of the $5,000 each. Of course, you still have the option to walk away, assuming you've done everything else to the contract contingencies correctly and both parties signed the release. You can get your earnest money back and you can part ways and go find yourself another house. Now, the one thing I have always get asked by the buyer is when the appraisal comes in low, why can't we fight it? You absolutely have the opportunity to go back to the appraisal and challenge the current appraisal report. In the situation where you're going to be challenging it, your agents are going to most likely work together with the seller and to make sure that the appraiser has all of the information about the property correct, like square footage, condition, any upgrades or updates that they've made to the property recently that could affect the pricing. They're also going to review all of the comparable properties that the appraiser used to pull together the report. And if there's one or two on there that the agent, the seller, or the buyer, or any party involved feels like it's not the right comparable for the property, and there's one that's better, you can actually submit that as a challenge. Now, I will caveat all of this by saying getting an appraisal revised is very, very difficult. There's not very many appraisers out there that are going to accept the challenge and revise an appraisal report. It has happened before, but it's very, very rare. So I just want everybody out there to understand that the chances of getting the challenge accepted and the appraisal report actually revised are very slim. Thank you so much for watching this week. I really hope you found this information helpful. If you haven't already done so, consider hitting that subscribe button and the bell so you don't miss the videos I release on Fridays. You know my goal is to make the content that you're looking for. So if you have a specific topic or suggestion for a future video, go ahead and leave it in the comment section below. If you haven't watched my other video about what a home appraisal is, I'll leave a link in the description box below. And if you're a seller or homeowner that's getting ready for an appraisal, you might be interested in next week's video. It's going to be all about getting prepared and how to maximize the value in your appraisal. So stay tuned for that, and I'll see you next week.